Okay, good afternoon all, and welcome to this online class of Corporate Finance. This is Dr. Mahesh M. Onjeri, Assistant Professor, Department of Management Studies, SDM College of Engineering and Technology, Dharwad. Okay, so today, among the evaluation techniques, okay, we are going to learn internal rate of return and profitability index. So just to recall, so if you remember, okay, in the last two classes, so we have learned traditional evaluation techniques. Okay, these are evaluation techniques of capital projects. I repeat, evaluation techniques of capital projects. Using these evaluation techniques, okay, capital projects are evaluated, and whether to accept or reject the capital project, the decision is made. So far among the traditional okay, so among the traditional techniques, so we have learned average rate of return, payback period, and by incorporating the concept of time value of money, normal payback period can be converted into time adjusted payback period. So hence it is called the discounted payback period. And then among the time adjusted or discounted cash flow techniques, so far we have learned net present value. So now we are going to continue and learn the remaining two techniques of discounted cash flow. One is internal rate of return and profitability index. Okay. So let us begin with the understanding of internal rate of return. So internal rate of return is a measure of an investment's rate of return. So I repeat, the internal rate of return is a measure of an investment's rate of return. So it is nothing but if a rate of return of a project is calculated, that itself is nothing but the internal rate of return. So why it is called as internal rate of return? Because the term internal refers to the fact that calculation excludes external factors such as inflation, cost of capital, and various financial risks. I repeat, internal rate of return is a measure of an investment's rate of return. And the term internal refers to, why the term internal is used? Because the term internal refers to the fact that the calculation excludes external factors such as inflation, cost of capital, or various financial risks. That's why it is called as internal rate of return. So rate of return earned on a project or estimated to be earned on a project excluding factors such as inflation, cost of capital, or various financial risks which are external to the firm. Then accept reject criterion. Compare the actual IRR with the required rate of return. So it means what rate of return a company wants to earn on its project is predetermined. So compare the calculated IRR or actual IRR with the required rate of return or predetermined rate of return. Accept the project if internal rate of return is greater than a required rate of return, and reject the project if internal rate of return is lesser than required rate of return. So I hope the concept is clear now. So there are certain steps involved in determining internal rate of return. So we are going to learn now determining internal rate of return for annuity. So I hope by this time you remember what is annuity. Annuity is a stream of equal annual cash flows. So I'll just read out the steps, and while immediately I will consider a numerical problem in which we are going to apply the steps and determine IRR. Okay. So the first step is determine the payback period of the investment. So I repeat, determine the payback period of the investment. So any 1 year's cash inflow divided by, okay, number of years, sorry. So you'll get the payback period of the investment. Okay, so I'll repeat, determine payback period of the investment in the first instance. Then we have to refer table A4 as it is a case of annuity. So which is the present value of an annuity table. Look for the payback period that is equal to or closest to the life of the project. Okay, so we'll consider this in the numerical problem. Then third step, in the year row, find two present values or discount factors closest to payback period, but one bigger and one smaller than it. Then step 4, from the top row of the table, note interest rate corresponding to these present values. Okay, so for example, one will be 12, another will be 13, or one will be 16, another will be 17. So one smaller, one bigger. Then determine the actual internal rate of return by interpolation with the equations given below and 9.11. So IRR, internal rate of return, is equal to small r minus PB minus DFR divided by DFRL minus DFRH. So where PB is the payback period, which we have determined. DFR is a discount factor for interest rate. DFRL is a discount factor for lower interest rate. DFRH is a discount factor for higher interest rate. Then small r is either of the two interest rates used in the formula. Okay. So as I said, one smaller and one bigger interest rate we are going to get in step 4. So we can use any one to determine IRR. So there is another alternate formula also. IRR is equal to R minus PVCO minus PVCF80 whole divided by delta PV into delta R. So where PVCO is present value of cash outlay. So we need to use table A4 for this purpose to find out the present value of total cash outlay. PVCF80, present value of cash inflows. Sorry, we need to use table A4 to find out present value of cash inflows. So the DFR into annuity. Small r is either of the two interest rates used in formula. Delta R is difference in interest rates. So usually it will be 1 because we take one bigger and one smaller interest rates like 12 or 13. So 13 minus 12 is 1, or 16 or 17. So difference is 1. So this way. So now, and delta PV is the difference in calculated present values of inflows. So after learning the two alternative equations and the steps to determine internal rate of return for annuity, we'll consider a small example and learn how internal rate of return is calculated for annuity. Okay, so this is example 9.7 from textbook. A project costs 36,000, means initial cash outflow is 36,000 rupees and is expected to generate cash inflows of 11,200 annually. Okay, so I repeat, and this project is expected to generate cash inflows of 11,200 rupees annually for 5 years. So each year 11,200 rupee for 5 years. So it is a case of annuity. So you are asked to calculate internal rate of return of the project. Okay, now applying the same steps or using the same steps. So we are going to determine internal rate of return for this example. So I'll take the questions after the solution. So step 1, so we need to determine payback period of the project. So total investment in the project is 36,000 rupees. Okay. And the annuity is 11,200 rupees. So if we divide the total cash outflow or initial investment by annuity amount, we get payback period, that is 3.214 years. I'll give a more simplified example. Okay, so let us say that the cost of a project is 50,000 rupees. Okay, and the project is going to generate 10,000 rupee each year for 10 years. So I repeat a simple example. Cost of a project is 50,000 rupees, and each year the project is going to generate cash inflows of 10,000 rupee each year. So what is the payback period in this case? 10,000 in year 1, 10,000 in year 2, 10,000 in year 4, 10,000 in year 5, 10,000 in year 5. So in the 5 years, the payback period in the oral example which I gave. Okay. So otherwise, I can also do it by 50,000 rupee cost of the project divided by annuity amount. In my oral example, it is 10,000 rupees. So 50,000 divided by 10,000 is equal to 5 years. In same way, in this example, the initial investment or total cash outflows are 36,000 rupees, which we are going to divide it by the annuity amount to determine payback period, which is 3.214 years. So step 1 is complete. Steps 2 and 3 together we are going to consider. So then now we are going to consider table A4 as it is a case of annuity, present value of an annuity. Table A4 we are going to consider. So according to table A4, the discount factor closest to 3.214. So this is the payback period what we have considered, 3.214, and in the table A4, the discount factor or present value factor closest to 3.214 for 5 years in the 5-year row are 3.274 and 3.199. So 3.274 is one value higher than payback period, and 3.199 is another value which is slightly lower than payback period. Okay, that is step 2 and 3. Okay, so we have to consider the 5th year row in table A4. I repeat, we have to consider the 5th year row as the life of the project is 5 years. We have to consider 5th year row and find out the two values that are closest to 3.214. And what we found is one value is 3.274, slightly bigger than 3.214, and another value is 3.199, slightly lower than 3.214. Now we are going to consider the columns of 3.274 above and find out what is the interest rate. Similarly, we are going to consider 3.199, go above column and find out what is the interest rate. Okay, so then step 4. So for 3.274, if we go above, okay, the column of interest is 16%. Okay, and for 3.199, if we go above the column, so the corresponding interest rate is 17%. So what we got? One interest rate smaller, another interest rate higher. So two interest rates we got now. So step 5, substituting the values in equation 9.2. 9.11. So we are going to consider the first equation, equation 9.11. So IRR is equal to small r, okay, minus PB minus DFR divided by DFRL minus DFRH. PB is nothing but a payback period, which we have determined here, 3.214. So I'm going to write 3.214. I'll explain this R minus 3.214. Then next is the DFR. Okay. So DFR is either 3.274 or 3.199. Since we have considered small r as 17% in this case, so I have to consider the PV factor in the column of 17% interest, which is 3.199. So DFR I have written here as 3.199. So whole divided by DFRL. So DFRL is 3.199. The present value factor in the higher interest column, 17% interest column, and DFRH is 3.274. Okay, so 3.274. So here now coming to the rate of interest, small r we can consider either 16% or 17%. So if I consider 17%, so what we discussed is the internal rate of return will be between 16% and 17%. It will not be greater than 17%. So if I am going to consider the higher rate of interest, which is 17% in this case, so it will be R minus, because the internal rate of return will be between 16 and 17. Okay. So once we simplify this, so the answer is 16.8% it is. So internal rate of return is 16.8%. Now alternatively, if I use 16% interest, here we have used 17% interest. So I can cross check whether the answer is right or not by using the alternative interest rate, which is 16%. So when I consider 16%, see the mark changes here. Here it was minus, here it is plus. As I mentioned, it is so because as I mentioned, the internal rate of return is between 16 and 17. So it will not be lesser than 16. It will be slightly more than 16. So I write 16 plus. So once we simplify this, again the equation is same. Once we simplify this, so the answer we get is 16.8% is the internal rate of return. Now, yeah, one more equation is remaining. So I will consider this as well. Okay, then I'll take questions. So if we consider the equation 9.12, so which is IRR is equal to R minus PVCO minus PVCFAT whole divided by delta PV into delta R. Okay, so what we need is PVCO, we know the present value of cash outlay. The cash outlay will be always incurred in present. Okay, so which is 36,000 rupees. PVCO cost of the project is 36,000 rupees. So we are going to calculate PVCFAT, present value of cash inflows after taxes. So at the rate of 16% interest, the PVCFAT amount will be, since it is the case of annuity, I hope you remember. Okay, so we are going to refer table A for present value of an annuity. So 16% interest column, 5th year row. So the value will be 3.274, which is already in fact identified in the previous equation 9.11. So when you multiply the amount of annuity 11,200 into PV factor 3.274, we get the present value of annuity as 36,668.8 rupees. Similarly, we need to find out PV CFAT at 17% interest as well. So since it is a case of annuity, we are going to refer present value of an annuity, table A4, annuity amount is 11,200 into, okay, table A4, 17% interest column, 5th year row, the corresponding value is 3.199, which we have already identified. Okay, so once we multiply the present value of CFAT for 17% interest is 35,828.8. Okay, so once we have all the data that we need, we are going to, okay, put the data into the equation 9.12. So initially we are going to use a higher interest rate, 17%. So the equation will remain R minus. So I hope you understand now. So IRR is equal to 17% I am considering first. So the internal rate of return is between 16 and 17. It will not be above 17. So I'm going to write 17 minus. Okay. So if I consider 16, the internal rate of return will be between 16 and 17. So it will not be, okay. So I will write 16 plus. It will not be below 16. So I'm going to write 16 plus. Okay. So now referring to the formula, PVCO minus PVCFAT. So PVCO is present value of cash outlay, or total cost of the project is 36,000, and the present value of cash inflows or present value of an annuity for 17% rate of interest was 35,828.8, which we have calculated here. Okay. Then divided by delta PV, that is the difference between the present value of cash inflows of at 16% interest. Okay, so which are 36,668.8 minus the present value of CFAT at 17% interest, which is 35,828.8. So the difference we are going to write here. Okay, sorry, the difference we are going to write here into 1. Okay, so delta R is, okay, the difference between the two interest rates. So one is 16%, another is 17%. So the difference is always 1 here. So once we simplify, we get the answer as 16.8%. This is the internal rate of return. Or alternatively, if I consider the lower rate of interest 16%, so it will become plus, as the IRR will be greater than 16. So by substituting the values, present value of cash outlay 36,000, or cost of the project 36,000, and the present value of cash inflows at 16% rate of interest is 36,668.8. Okay, divided by the difference between the two, the difference between PVCFAT at 16% interest and 17% interest. Okay, so into 1, it is delta R, difference between the two interest rates 16 and 17, the difference is 1. So once we simplify, the answer what we get is 16.8%, which is considered as internal rate of return. Okay, so now pay attention everyone. So though there are so many equations, so 9.11 for example, so here we have considered equation 9.11 first, then one higher rate of interest, another lower rate of interest. Okay, then equation 9.12, again one time for higher rate of interest, another time for lower rate of interest. So 4 times we have calculated. So students, you need not calculate. Okay, so I repeat, students, you need not calculate internal rate of return for 4 times. You can use any one. Let us say to beginning with, you can go for equation 9.11. Okay, and you can use this equation if you remember easily. Use any one rate. If you use a higher rate of interest, it will be R minus, it will remain. Okay, once you arrive at this answer, okay, your solution is over. You need not go further and solve with the remaining 3 methods. Okay, so it is all not required. You can solve the answer, solve the numerical just with, okay, one equation initially, whichever you remember. Okay, so that's all about internal rate of return. Now I'm going to unmute your audio. So those students who have a question, please you can okay, clarify your doubt, and after clarifying your doubt, again remember to mute your audio. Yes, I have unmuted you all. You can ask your question.
Hello.
Yes, who is it?
Sir, Sharan here, sir.
Sharan, tell me.
Sir, can you go to the first equation which you taught us?
Okay, so here, this is the first equation.
Not this, sir, about this. This one. Here you, the equation which you told us, so can you go a bit down?
Sorry?
Can you scroll a bit down? Sir, where you had put those figures, no, sir?
No, this is the equation 9.12. Hi. After this, you want to go to the numerical problem.
Yes, sir. Where you had put the figures in the form of formula.
Yes, here. You can see now.
Yes, sir. Sir, here you mentioned that DFRL is 3.199.
Okay. What happened?
But in the equation you mentioned DFRL is 3.199.
Okay.
And DFRH is 3.274.
DFRH is written first.
Okay, it is DFRH is written first.
Like this is written here, correct?
Yes, sir. You exchange those values, no, so.
Okay, see, it doesn't make any difference. Here, it doesn't make any difference, okay? Minus sign.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so like usual mathematics, like 5 minus 6, if I write, so it will be answer will be -1, correct?
Yes, sir.
So here that principle is not applicable. Okay, just for ease of or convenience, it is written in a reverse way.
Okay, sir. Because I had that one doubt. If we exchange those figures, then one answer will be different, no, sir?
Yes, very well.
So I got confused.
Even if you write 3.199 minus 3.274, your answer you should consider it as negative. Okay?
Sir, okay, sir. Like the answer will be minus 16.8.
You should not.
We need to consider it 16.8 only.
Correct. You should not consider a negative.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Only here, huh? Only here.
Yes, sir.
Whatever answer you get after simplifying this definitely has to be deducted from 17. Okay?
Okay, sir.
Good. Next question, please. Okay, next question. And sir, I hope you remember, right? You can just finish your answer with one equation, okay, and one answer. Don't go on calculating alternative way. Whatever formula you remember, okay, and whatever interest rate you want to take, any one you consider, finish your answer, matter over here. You need not calculate it 4 times. It is just for learning. It is shown. Okay, any other questions? Okay, any other questions?
Sir?
Yes.
I have, sir.
Please ask.
If this PBP, sir, if I get 3.274 directly, sir, if it is there in table A4, what to do, sir?
Okay. See, usually what happens is the problems are not designed in that way. See, okay. I'm sorry. If, okay, you get an answer, say for example, 3.274, if you get the answer of payback period is 3.274. So what is the, if you go above the row, above the table, so what will be the interest column you will find? 16%,
16%.
isn't it?
Yes, sir.
16% will be internal rate of return. Matter over. No need to solve all this.
Yes, sir.
Answer is clear?
Yes, sir.
But usually in examination, you can understand. That is avoided. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So no paper setter will give you directly like say 3.274 as a payback period. He will not set the question in that way. But for knowledge good, if the payback period itself is 3.274, then the internal rate of return will be 16%. You don't need all this calculation. Good question.
Yes, sir.
And next. Okay, next question. So was it simple, you feel? Okay. See now 2 minutes are remaining. Okay, so I'm going to conclude the session here, first session, and within 10 minutes, once the meeting is converted to video, I will start the next session again, and we are going to consider the last technique of time adjusted technique, which is a profitability index. Okay, so thank you. We'll assemble again within 10 minutes. If anybody have a question later also, you can ask me. Next session also, you can ask me question.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, bye.
Bye, sir.